So the title of my speech today is America. I love America. It's one of the reasons I'm going to the military, help support it. But that isn't where the idea for this topic came from. It actually came last semester, towards the end of it. So I was thinking to myself, I know a lot about World War I and II, pretty good bit about Civil War, Korea, and even Vietnam. But what do I know about the Revolutionary War? What do I know about our independence? So I took a class this semester, Revolutionary America. I suggest you take it. Great class. But the idea of the topic today is to educate everybody on the Revolutionary War and maybe dip in a little bit and try to persuade y'all to maybe thinking back more to the ideals and the beliefs of what our forefathers had. So to start off, how did the Revolutionary War start? How did we get to the point to we're claiming our independence? Truth be told, 2 decades prior, in the 1750s, we were in a good relationship with Great Britain. There was no problem. Then all of a sudden, they put forth 2 acts. First one, the Stamp Act. Second is the Townshend Act. What the Stamp Act said is that Parliament would issue this special type of paper with their stamp on it. And any legal documentation had to be printed on this piece of paper, or yet it would not be legal. This could go anything from a will, your marriage documentations, or even a law had to be printed on this. So specific taxes were put on this. The next was the Townshend Act. This put specific duties on stuff like glass, lead, paint, and even the tea they drank. So contrary to popular belief, these taxes, they weren't that bad. You think of it today as a pocket change you'll take out of your britches whenever you come home from work and you put in your mason jar. It's not that much. So you ask, why did they rise up? Why did they want their independence when it wasn't that big of a deal? It was actually because of representation. The people weren't being represented. Great Britain and Parliament was doing as they pleased with them. They had a Bill of Rights made by Parliament, established in 1689, that said the people could not be taxed unless given their permission. But yet, Great Britain decided to do this on their own. The next concept is by the powder alarms. I don't know if you know about this, but what this was the British regular armies, the redcoats, going to take the powder from the storage houses from the militia. It was said that by law, every man, able-bodied man, should carry a musket. Not only for hunting, but for protection. So now the government's saying that we're going to take your right to defend your family just so they couldn't rise up. So now that you've got a little bit of insight, a little bit of history on kind of how the Revolutionary War started, let's dive in a little bit to today. How does this even relate to America? How does this relate to even us? Well, actually, you got to think of it like this. Today, our government is becoming more powerful, much like the British Empire. They were expanding too quickly. With power, our liberties and rights begin to drop. What our forefathers wanted is unity. Equal number of power with equal number of rights and liberties. But with the growing power in the government, it starts to shift the balance. So much like then, whenever the government was growing too powerful, taking away these small rights and liberties at first and then more later, today we're relying more on our government to get things that we need. You can see this in welfare, food stamps, and even our Social Security. People rely on this. People survive off of this, essentially creating a puppet society. Without this, they couldn't get by. The next, you hear this most popular in the media, the Second Amendment. You hear this a lot because it's our right to bear arms. But how does this relate to it? Now, I love to hunt. I love to go out shooting with my buddies. But the main reason I like it is because it's defense. That word, defense, just think about it. What does it mean? It means able to have some way, some means to protect your family, your friends, your neighbors, your country if need be, and even your way of life. But without arms, without these guns, how are you going to do that? Have you ever heard of a people able to revolt without arms, without any leverage? You haven't. And that's what these governments are afraid of. That's why our forefathers put this as one of the founding documents in our Bill of Rights. Because we need a way, once the people are oppressed, their freedoms, their inalienable rights are taken away, a way to rise up and sustain that for the future. So in conclusion, I'd like to end with a quote by George, if I can pronounce this right, Strayan. It's a funky name, and my southern accent makes it a little tough. But he says, "Those who do not remember the past are condemned to repeat it." So Toastmasters, I want you to remember what our forefathers have done. I want you to think about it. And hopefully, I've persuaded